Stop normalizing sleep deprivation. That's right, I'll say it again. Stop normalizing the lack of sleep that you're getting every night. I know a lot of people have this saying, oh, I'll just sleep when I'm dead. That is completely unacceptable for your mental, emotional, and your physical health. So, we're going to talk today about sleep deprivation. I recently just watched a really great video by Katie Morton. It was titled 8 Unexpected Ways We Self-Harm and How to Stop. She went into a lot of really good information. She talked about not feeding ourselves, those times when we get so busy and so wrapped up that we're not adequately getting enough nutrition. She talked about not taking breaks and not getting the rest we need. And I want to go deeper into that today. One of the things I wanted to add to self-harm is actually sleep deprivation is actually self-harm. If you're purposely so busy, so active, so much to do in your schedule, and trust me, I know, especially as a woman, we play the role as mother, daughter, sister, employer, employee. We play so many hats. The cook, we're the chauffeur, we're the homework checker. So many hats that we are not getting the sleep that we need, and we're just normalizing sleep deprivation. So I have a few notes today. I wanted to go in, and this is going to be a 10-part series. Today, we're going to talk about really specifically communicating your sleep schedule to others and having those boundaries. So before I go on any further, my name is Dr. Robin. I'm a sleep health coach, healthcare consultant, and I help busy, active professionals, high achievers usually, really stop burnout, exhaustion to get the sleep that they crave and get the sleep that they deserve. So one of the first things I wanted to go into is actually sharing your sleep schedule with your family and your friends. You know, sometimes we may get upset or mad if someone calls us and interrupts our sleep. They don't necessarily know what time our sleep could be getting interrupted. Okay, so we have to communicate with that. They're not mind readers. We shouldn't expect them to read our minds. So we need to communicate. You know, I have a cutoff time about 9 p.m. I start shutting down for the night, and you should have an hour of power down. It's very difficult to just hit the sack and go to sleep. There are some people that are gifted like that. I know a couple of people personally, they could just hit the sack without powering down. But the older we get, we need a power down hour. And we should be relaying this to our friends and our family. Okay? Once again, they can't read our minds. They have no way of knowing that after 9 o'clock, unless there's an emergency, we're not taking phone calls, texts, emails, knocks on the door, whatever type of interaction that they would prefer. We are not doing that because we need that hour of power down so that we can definitely be asleep by 10 p.m. at the latest. Also, it's important to have a specific bedtime and wake up time that you're committed to. So wake up time is just important as bedtime. They should not be, calling you, texting you, emailing, knocking on your door, so forth at, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, depending on what your wake up time is. So this is just something really about having those boundaries in place. And there's only way we can have those boundaries in place is by effectively communicating to friends and family. It's just not about getting enough hours of sleep, but we want to also be getting the good quality of sleep as well. So when I mention about quality, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is where you're getting that maximum quality of sleep where your body is repairing itself. This is why long-term sleep deprivation can wreak havoc on your health. So your appetite regulation. So if you're finding you're having up and down with weight issues, your appetite regulation is occurring during this time. if you seem to be always, catching a cold, and I know it's cough and cold season, but if you find yourself always catching a cold during this time, it's not, it's because during this time, your immune system is doing a lot of repair and upgrading. So 10 to 2 is when you need to really be getting that rest. Additionally, if you're finding yourself having a foggy brain, where you're just fogginess, you're not able to remember things, that's very dangerous, okay? And we want to keep in mind that our brains actually consolidate our memories from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. So all the stuff that we're learning, and we're living in a fast-paced society now. I know it's super fast right now. We're learning things at probably one of the highest rates that we ever have in history. In order to really consolidate and really grab a hold of those things that we're learning to be more effective in our jobs, our business, we need to have that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. sleep, okay? Another way that we're really communicating the boundaries is letting family know. And that's also the family that we're living with in our homes. And I know it's harder to communicate if you have those smaller kids in place. So some of the things we recommend, if you have help at all that can help you with the smaller kids, and the in-laws, the spouse, you trade off a bit so that you can get that sleep that you need. Older kids can kind of understand, they actually enjoy some independence early, especially Saturday and Sunday mornings. You can set them up the night before so that they can have some sort of independence, so you as mom and dad can get that extra rest in before getting your day started. Additionally, we're going to talk about sticking to the schedule. So we can't just, really tell these people and communicate effectively and then veer off of the schedule. And this is more about habit forming for ourselves. So really developing the habits in place that we need to have a definite wake up time and a definite go to bed time. And definitely building in, the older we get, that downtime, that power downtime that we need to really go over and discuss. So some of the other things I wanted to tell about is really showing your commitment to this. So it's one thing to verbalize to friends and family that you have these cutoff times, but you'll have to definitely reiterate that. So when you're invited out to, go out, start a dinner at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, you will definitely have to speak up for yourself and communicate, that's pretty late for me. Now, I'm not saying you can never have a late night dinner or never have a late night, engagement or activities. But a rule of thumb you want to keep in mind for consistency. So, that occasional, a few times a year that you need to go celebrate, someone getting married, someone really close to your birthday, that's okay. But what we're talking about is not that one-off thing. We're talking about that consistent day after day, week after week, month after month. You will have to actually, what they say, put your money where your mouth is, put your sleep where your mouth is, and actually communicate, that's really too late for me. I love you all. Have a great time. I'll send a present. But I do have a cutoff time where I need to start powering down so that I can be more effective every day in the morning. A couple of other examples I wanted to give is children in the bed. I know there's some people, and I may get some pushback on this, but children, it is important for them, once they get to a certain age, to learn how to self-soothe and to get themselves to sleep every night. So that's something you're going to have to work on definitely for your children. I had a wonderful client, and she had older kids. I think it was a teenager, preteen, and an elementary school kid. And they were used to just jumping in the bed with mommy. And it was difficult for her to get to sleep. Now, the younger you are, the easier it is. They got to sleep fine. They got to sleep with no problem. But she had to really implement and set that boundary. And within a week, she found that she was sleeping great. So definitely have those boundaries with your children, the talks with the children. One of the things she did, she really expressed to the children she loved them, how much she cared about them, and she wanted them to learn self-sufficiency. That was one of her jobs as a mother, for them to be self-sufficient and self-soothing and self-calming themselves for an evening of rest and sleep. And she was really successful in doing that. I'm really proud of her in getting that done. Another instance, and this is probably how I got into this whole sleep training and for adults myself, and that was third shift workers. So if you find yourself working third shift, so these are shifts that usually start anywhere from 7, 8 to 10 o'clock at night. So these are people that are going to work throughout the whole night. So a lot of times in healthcare, as a clinical pharmacist, I worked some overnight shifts at local hospitals. And working these overnight shifts meant that I needed to sleep during the day so that I could get my rest. I want you, if you're working any type of third shift situation or overnight shift, first of all, I'm going to tell you this, there are certain chronotypes. They're actually highly productive and they are more night owls. Okay? So if that is you, definitely keep going for that. If that is not you, and it wasn't me, I'll be honest with you, it was not me at all. If it's not you, I want you to actively be looking for a daytime job. It may take you a while. I think it took me about a year. And I had to actively look for daytime employment. It didn't happen overnight, but if I had never started, I'd still be on that horrible loop. Because as my chronotype, I am not a natural night owl. I need my beauty rest and my regular rest for health, mental, so I'm not foggy. So just getting back to third shift. If you are a person, you say, I love this third shift, or I can't get out of it right now, your close friends and family should know that unless there's an emergency, they should not bother you during the daytime. Set that boundary that that is the time that you need rest. Even though the rest of the world may be awake and alive and vibrant at like, say, 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 10 a.m., you are getting that much needed sleep. So set that boundaries for them. The final boundary I'm going to talk about, and this is going to touch a nerve with some people, is that of snoring. Okay? A lot of people, their partners, they may find that their partner is snoring so much and that it keeps them awake at night. So that is something I want you to embark on. Definitely getting and encouraging that partner to get that help. There are so many different devices and ways to really get help. And it's the more extreme issue, which is called sleep apnea, where they actually kind of stop breathing through that nose at night and are breathing through the mouth. There are so many different things to do in 2024 and beyond to really help your spouse to stop snoring. So this is a two-way street. The spouse really needs to, the partner really needs to speak up. Once again, have that boundary in place, speak up and let them know, hey, the snoring's keeping me awake. I love you. I want to help you. It's not good for the person either who's not getting some oxygen. They're being oxygen deprived during sleep and rest. So you want both people, it's a win-win situation. This person's going to be able to increase their oxygenation during night so that they can even feel up more rested and rejuvenated. And the person who's, has to be on the receiving end and receiving it, they're going to get better rest as well. So that is some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this 10-part series. I'm definitely going to have a playlist for that series so that you can definitely look at this. Sleep deprivation is in fact self-harm. You should not definitely be embracing this. I hate when I hear people to say, I can sleep whenever, I can do this whenever. No. We were created, the universe, whoever you believe in, the universe, God, the Creator made us so that every day we can become more rejuvenated, refreshed, consolidate energy, consolidate our memories, just be more vibrant, healthy, and ultimately happier in life when we get that nighttime rest. So definitely have those things in place for yourself. I have a lot of resources for you as well below and down here in the comment section. Please check some of those out. Get on my mailing list. I am offering right now a free sleep kit. And this is a PDF that's going to go into a lot of information for you on how to get the top-notch sleep that you crave and deserve. I also have a quick quiz in there to see how sleep deprived are you. Maybe you're not sleep deprived at all, and that's great. That's what we're always hoping for. But if you're having some of that issues, it'll kind of calculate and tell you how bad is it and what you can do about it. I also packed it full of some really fun recipes with natural melatonin. If you look at a couple of my videos back, I talk about using synthetic melatonin. I'm not a big fan of the synthetic melatonin version. When, once again, Mother Nature has put so much melatonin actually in our foods. So definitely check that out. Catch my free sleep starter kit in the comments below. And thank you so much. I'll see you next time in part 2.